Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. Now, this is an old classic. I'm bringing an all Cav Bretonnia army. I haven't done that in Warhammer 2, because Cav is so much worse in Warhammer 2 than Warhammer 1. Just their charging behaviour is so bad, especially with the Pegasus Knights. These guys are absolute trash, but I brought them anyway. Because, yeah, I wanted something to bog down stuff that was in the air. You know, if they're fighting like a dragon or something, they do a lot better than if you're actually trying to land them. It's if you land them, the charge behaviour is just awful. But they do have anti-large, so I was hoping I could, you know, pin them, a dragon in place, get some early damage in there, and ruin some utility. I'm against High Elves, by the way, which is, why I'm talking about dragons. But, yeah, we'll see how these guys do. Ugh. Anyway, so, as you can see, I have a front line of Knights Errant. Also back here I have the Fey Enchantress, and hidden in the trees over here I have 2 units of Grail Knights and 2 units of Questing Knights. So great armor piercing, and, well, Grail Knights, they're just, they're brilliant. Nothing more needs to be said, really. Also, I have some mounted human archers over there. So, you might think I'm insane, fighting High Elves with an all-cav army. But the fact is, the sort of trend at the moment is you're going to be bringing a big army of peasants. You're going to go wide with Bretonnia, because frankly, the cavalry just isn't good enough. Obviously, you've got things like Grail Knights that you need, but for your front line, you've got to have, wide lot of peasants, really pin things in place, allow your cavalry to charge cleanly, because they need to charge clean, or else you're just not going to get, good use out of them. Which is why going all cav nowadays is a bit iffy, because they tend to get caught up on stuff, and they're just a bit... They're not as reliable as they used to be, frankly. I think a lot of it is the mass changes with the units, but anyway. So, should be a lot of fun. My opponent here, he clearly was expecting peasants, which is brilliant. You see he's got a couple of silver helms, so he's got some, heavy cav, which is nice. He's also got an eagle bolt thrower. That's really good for applying pressure on flying units, as you can see. Yeah, I'm already losing some health on the Pegasus Knights. So eagle bolt thrower, pretty handy. It's also good for sort of anti-artillery. So if I brought trebuchets or something, he can just take them out nice and early and make sure that I definitely don't get any value out of it. He's got a load of archers, so these guys are going to tear through peasants. He's got plenty of spearmen to sort of, keep him safe. At the front line, he's actually got a weird mix of spearmen and white lions, all overlapped, which might be especially why he'd want to make sure that, he took out my artillery early, because this is a little bit unusual. But the fact is, if I charge with, pretty much anything, I'm going to hit the white lions, and then I'm going to hit the, the charge defense of the spearmen, so it makes it pretty iffy for anyone to charge in there, especially with all the armor piercing as well as the anti-large. That's gonna add up. Combined forces there, pretty formidable. Also, you can see he's got an eagle, so gotta love a great eagle, and he's got techless. Gotta love techless. So we're gonna speed things up and see how it goes. So this is definitely gonna be an interesting one. When I saw this, I thought, oh, brilliant, I did good. Because yeah, frankly, the amount of archers, that is great. They don't have enough armor piercing really to get through a lot of armor for, my units, so that's really good. He does have a fair bit of anti-large though, but, he's bound to bring spearmen at least. But he spent a lot of money on white lions instead of bringing, things like Phoenix Guard or something, So he has limited sort of anti-large, and just so much expense on the archers that isn't going to get its full use. So here, I managed to charge, but it looks like they braced just in time, which is a real pity. And here, this wasn't good either. These Knights Errant basically fell straight through a gap, and now they're surrounded. So that's not good. Over here, I've got my Grail Knights and Questing Knights have sandwiched these Silver Helms pretty well. I'm trying to get some more units around the back so I can hit into here and hit into the back. But here you can see he's actually netted my Pegasus Knights, and he's going to start shooting them a lot. As you can see, they're really spread out. I tried to charge the Eagle, but it's clearly not worked well. So here I use a Dwellers Below, basically because I haven't used that spell in forever, and I wanted to see how good it would do. You see, it did alright, but I probably should have saved that up for, when I had them more sandwiched. So here you can see the Silver Helms are actually being a real nuisance here. I didn't catch them getting my, Knights Errant at the back. I thought they were still on the mounted yeoman. Unfortunately not, so brilliant charge on the Silver Helms. Basically took out unit Knights Errant there. That is not good for me at all. But I've still got this incredibly strong force in the back, so I'm trying to ignore the Eagle and keep ordering them through. But amazingly, the Eagle is keeping them bogged down so well here, and it's allowing him to sort of send units in. And I'm getting, my units are getting confused and attacking the wrong target. It's very irritating. I'm constantly having to do order after order after order. Here, though, it looks like I'm going to get a very nice Chalice and Potions. So, nice big chunk of damage. Again, could have probably saved that. But I want to basically get rid of martial prowess, right? I can lower their melee defense, I'll be able to do more damage to them. As you can see, these spearmen are pretty hurt, you know. He's used a regrowth on them, unfortunately, but still. So here, I'm into his archers now. I actually charged these Grail Knights into this lot. I saw the archers, the spearmen rather, weren't braced, so that was a good time to charge. Fey Enchantress, she's just milling around. And I still have these Pegasus Knights trying to bother Teclis. And you can see Teclis is actually taking a lot of damage from the Pegasus Knights, despite the Pegasus Knights being absolute trash. So that's pretty good, but then he is very flimsy. So, nice little dodge by the Fey Enchantress there. I do love dodging flying units, it's always so satisfying. So, here you can see my Grail Knights are getting absolutely screwed over though. I really should have pulled them out sooner. But as you can see, this is an absolute mess right now. So, I do get Earth Blood on these guys, which is nice. Unfortunately, only 23 models left on these Grail Knights. That's really not good for me. So I need to pull these guys out. Unfortunately, with units being so spread out, it's really hard to tell where things are. So pulling out directly away from things isn't as simple as it looks. So here you can see he actually nets the Fey Enchantress, which is a very good call. So here Teclis and the Eagle are attacking the Fey Enchantress, and that is going to do a ton of work. She is not good at fighting this kind of fight. So over here, trying to finish off these Silver Helms. My Knights Errant, very haggard. But hopefully I can win out here. Their archers have been pretty much dealt with, as well as just stopping that perpetual fire, because that damage will add up, you know, eventually. You know, I wanted to make sure that basically I was lowering their, you know, their army, trying to get rid of some value, because they're very quick to kill. So it'll lower their value very quickly and hopefully shift the balance of power. So here, Pegasus Knight still bothering these guys. Fey Enchantress actually ran away, which is not good. Man, Yeoman Archers, I need to get them back in the fight, that's for sure. So, anyway, as you can see, my Knights Errant, they got completely collapsed here. It's not good. My Questing Knight's very injured. My Grail Knight's very injured. My Grail Knight's very injured. My Questing Knight's pretty injured. That's, you know, the best I can get, really. Pretty injured. Actually saying that, they're already pretty injured. That is a technical thing for just over half health, I've decided. But you can see, now they've been collapsed on by, like, you know, all these spears and the White Lions. They're pretty bogged down, and that is doing a ton of work. So that is pretty bad. The White Lions, surprisingly good. Actually, when backed up with Spearmen. That anti-armor will help crack some of these guys, which is pretty good. So here, Pegasus Knight still fighting Teclis, so not bad, not bad. They're keeping his lord busy. That's all I could want, really. Pretty sure the Fey Enchantress... Oh, she's over here now. Cool. So, pretty sure he's an Earth Blood here. I tried to use the Chalice of Potions, but my Knights are in the stupidest position. So, here, these guys are actually holding all of these guys back, so I end up basically using the Chalice of Potions on myself, which is just typical. Ridiculous. So I was trying to pull them out as well. They were ignoring me. Anyway, so I'm cleaning up some more of this stuff. The Eagle's coming back into the fight, but, you know, I do have the Questing Knights here and some Grail Knights, so we should be able to get on top of these guys nice and quickly. Over here you can see the archers haven't managed to finish things off, which is a real shame. That is a real pity. Especially one of those Grail Knights. Ugh. Pegasus Knights finally dealt with, but Pegasus is healing cap, so that's something. So here, my mounted Yeoman Archers, I'm pretty sure I send them after these archers. So I'm coming in for another charge. As you can see, a lot of their units are very injured right now. So you know, it won't be much to sort of break the odd unit. So here, Grail Knights charge in first. They got the best charge bonus, so that's very handy. Questing Knights follow it up, and the Fey Enchantress comes in. So the Fey Enchantress will actually debuff these guys. So their melee attack for the Spearmen is down to 15, which is pretty pathetic. Obviously they got the anti-large bonus, which is going to still make them, you know, pretty damaging for me. But, you know, it's not bad. Not bad. So, you know, melee defense on, like, the Grail Knights, it's not the hugest thing in the world, like a lot of physical resist. So, you know, as long as I can shrug off some of the damage, it's great. But also, there's the Mortis Engine effect, which is very useful. So here, try and charge in the rear, and you can see the odd unit is starting to break, which is very good. So here, mounted Yeoman Archers, keeping the archers busy. Pegasus Knights coming back in again to bother Teclis. Once again, the Fey Enchantress has been pinned, but he's got nothing left to capitalise on that. So he's basically just stopping me from doing that withering effect of the Mortis Engine. But it looks like Teclis is trying to deal with it, but I'm sort of bothering him with my Pegasus Knights. Amazingly, they did actually charge, which is amazing. These guys, I love them. I love them to bits. Honestly, I don't. They're terrible. Any other unit in Knights would have killed Teclis by now. But anyway, ugh. So here, yeah, I'm holding out. The Grail Knights are holding. Fey Enchantress is back, so they're getting withered again by that Mortis Engine effect she's got. And these Questing Knights are just about holding on. But yeah, Teclis really bogged down. Pegasus Knights don't know what they're doing. They're just swinging around. It's very strange. Mounted Yeoman Archers I sent to finish off the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. And everything starts breaking. You see balance of power starting to go in my favour. But I'm still definitely in a lot of trouble. My units are very, very, very hurt. Luckily, I do have one unit of Grail Knights that managed to sustain all of the complete anarchy. So that is good for me. And now, Fair Enchantress, she's going to get in this fight. She's not going to take any nonsense from him. And there we go, as you can see, army loss is about to prog. So, boom. And there they go. So, yeah, all cav army, Bretonnia, against, you know, a faction that is famous for using a lot of anti-large, has a lot of spears and a lot of very good cavalry. So, it's pretty ridiculous, honestly. And, like, dragons, they're obviously, you know, breath attacks will mess up things like Grail Knights and stuff. So there's so many things to watch out for. But it worked out, surprisingly. And I think the reason is, basically, because High Elves are so good at dealing with cavalry, with just so much cheap, you know, reliable anti-large units, basically all of their spearmen. Obviously they don't have a lot of, you know, armor piercing along with that, but they've got a lot of reliable units. Phoenix Guard, for instance. My god, I mean, they're not cheap, but still, Phoenix Guard, they can kill knights all day. So basically no one brings cavalry against the High Elves. Not a lot of it anyway. You know, you'll obviously see like a couple of Grail Knights in most armies, but it's usually just a wide line of peasants. And they'll just try and use the peasants to get through, you know, and magic to do the damage. But no, that's not what I did. And I just think it was a complete curveball, and I think that's how I was able to, you know, get the advantage there. Because this isn't really designed for dealing with a lot of cavalry. But this would have done great against a more typical Bretonnia army. You know, the White Lions would have done really well against things like the foot squires. You know, the spearmen would have held off any of the peasants, and all the archers, they could have just focused down one unit after the next, and it would have done a ton of work. You know, get a load of these guys shooting at things like battle pilgrims, they're not going to last. Not long at all. And the Silver Helms, just for, you know, just the odd rear charge if possible, you know, they'll do a ton of work if they charge straight into, what are they called? Peasants. So they'll do great. You know, the Eagle can really help, you know, in any aerial fight if they did bring a Flying Lord, especially when you can sort of net it down, fire at it with the Eagle Bolt Thrower, the archers. This is great for dealing with Bretonnia, usually. So by bringing something that just seems like such a terrible idea, it can often pan out, which it's definitely, you know, a bit surprising, but yeah, it can definitely pan out. If you just bring something that is usually a bad idea, if you just go all in, then usually you're fine, which seems very counterintuitive, but you just sort of overdo things, and people don't know to expect it, so it could be very daft. So this is definitely a fun battle, so yeah, thanks for that, Semper Idem. Semper Idem? Semper Idem? What's that mean? Anyway, so guys, yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.